Ahead on this edition of SuTV News, the City of Fargo and NDSU form plans to get a head start on this year's flood.
An in-studio guest discusses the most pressing issues dealing with the Division of Information Technology.
And in sports, the Bison continue to battle in conference play.
The spring flood outlook is not getting any better for the valley. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. The new forecast from the National Weather Service in Grand Forks released today shows an increased likelihood of major flooding in communities along the Red and Cheyenne rivers.
The Red River in Fargo has a 20% chance of reaching 41.2 feet, up from the previous prediction of 40.7 feet. This is due to the water content in the snowpack increasing from 20 to 30% to 30 to 40%. Also, colder weather is expected to return to the valley by Friday, slowing the melt process, followed by stormier conditions. This is all according to the Weather Service. The next outlook will be released on March 3rd.
With the new predictions, a team effort between the City of Fargo and NDSU in the flood fighting efforts is more important than ever before. President Brashani and Mayor Dennis Wallaker met this week and are working to bring this community through another battle with the Big Red. The name of the game now is preparation. SuTV News has more. As the flood of 2011 inches closer, the City of Fargo and surrounding communities are trying to get one step ahead.
In 2009, we did it in 8 or 9 days. That was unbelievable. I don't know if we can do that again.
Fargo-Moorhead has had little or no precipitation for the past 5 weeks, and there's minimum frost in the ground, showing that predictions could come down if current conditions stay. However, it could be a false hope.
There are some of our group that are talking about the perfect storm, the perfect spring melt. I'm not there yet. I think it's too early.
The mayor is asking for 3 million sandbags, even though 300,000 were saved from 2010. If there is an abundance, the city will save them for future events.
We are planning for the worst and hoping for the best.
This is where the students come in. President Brashani is proud of the enthusiasm students have put forth in past years. So much so that he is offering an incentive.
I'd like to see who amongst our athletes, our residence halls, our student organizations, and our Greek chapters contributes the most to this incredible and important community effort. The chapter, the group, the organization that does so is going to get an all-expense-paid lunch at the President's house. Theta Chi fraternity put in over 300 hours of sandbagging last year, yet there are others looking to be in the running.
I think we're going to go for it. I think it's going to be hotly contested, yeah. I wanted to ask what he was serving.
The effort put forth by the community to beat the river for a 3rd straight year will be more than worth a free dinner. President Brashani also mentioned that if the city were in what would be considered a crisis situation, the university would take responsible steps to put everything it could behind efforts.
Fargo City leaders are challenging NDSU students. Commissioner Tim Mahoney and the fire department say they need more help filling sandbags. Middle school, high school students, and businesses have been supplying an adequate number of volunteers before 2 p.m. It is in the afternoon and evenings that college students are needed most at Sandbag Central. Flood fight experts know winning the battle in 2011 will require a huge effort from NDSU.
The NDSU students are critical to our efforts. In 2009, they really saved the city, so we really find it very important to have them around.
Sandbag Central has not been running at full capacity due to a lack of volunteers. City leaders want a sense of urgency now because the goal is so high.
It's a lot easier to be prepared and have the sandbags made before that. The 3 million bags we can keep and we can store, we can do whatever we want.
Only a handful of NDSU students were present when this video was shot. Some urged their fellow students to join them, but others weren't too concerned with the low turnout.
Right now there aren't too many NDSU students out here. I'm just trying to represent my fraternity, but it might be nice to get some more NDSU students out here.
I'm here for the first time. So my friends who visited here last time, they told me that it's a good experience to, have here.
The flood isn't going to happen maybe what, 5 or 6 more weeks they're predicting. When it becomes more kind of real, and they'll put aside their homework for a little bit more longer to come down here.
Perfect. The Fargo Fire Department act as volunteer floor coordinators and are used to working with a large contingent of college students.
We're still waiting for the majority of that student body to come out here and put some effort in the evenings.
Bison have always been our right arm on this fight, so we really need them to step it up and be there.
Students are urged to assist in sandbagging efforts even for a couple of hours at a time. Shuttle buses run every 15 minutes from the west side of the Memorial Union.
NDSU is now nationally ranked. The university has joined the nation's top 108 public and private universities in the Carnegie Commission on Higher Education's elite category of research universities, very high research activity. President Prashani says he is honored by the acknowledgement of NDSU's achievements and the opportunity to join the nation's most sought-after higher education classification.
The university system in North Dakota is headed into uncharted territory. Spring 2011 enrollment at the 11 colleges and universities has reached a record spring term high, according to a report released by the State Board of Higher Education. 45,152 students enrolled in courses, an increase of 1,794. University system officials attribute the increase to a number of factors that point to enhanced responsiveness to today's learning environment.
Well, I know NDSU has had increased enrollment for the past 2 semesters. It's really interesting to see that all 11 colleges and universities in North Dakota have seen increased enrollment.
Good for North Dakota. It's nice to see that people are staying in North Dakota and going to school.
Yeah, and hopefully getting jobs once they get out of school.
Right.
Well, when we return, Mark Wallman from the Division of Information Technology joins us in the studio. Stay tuned.
Tickets call 231-NDSU. Cutters. Uh-oh.
What are we gonna do now?
Give me the phone. Hello, Jimmy John's.
Thank God you made it.
I was so hungry, I thought I was gonna die.
Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys.
Nice work, Johnson.
Catch what's new on the NDSU campus. See what the students are up to. Check on the latest from Bison Athletics. Catch it here, only on Cable 1, SuTvNews.
SuTV News is sponsored in part by Stop and Go. Stop and Go. We're always there.
Welcome back to SuTV News. I'm joined here with Mark Wallman from the Division of Information Technology. Mark, thanks for joining us this evening here. Let's start out with what exactly does your job entail in the Division of Information Technology?
I'm in charge of the department called Enterprise Computing and Infrastructure, and my staff are primarily engineers who are in charge of running the campus network, running the servers that do things like Blackboard, email, and other things like that. and we're involved in most of the projects that go on within the division.
And one of the major projects that's going on right now with NDSU is the transition from Squirrel Mail to NDSU Live. So why exactly is there a transition from Squirrel Mail? What was the reasons behind that?
So we're following directions set by the university system, and it was probably several years ago when it was set, I think about 2.5 years ago. There was also a vote by Student Senate here at NDSU to switch to Microsoft's email solution. And so we're following that direction. The timeline that we're going on right now is based largely on the fact that the existing mail system is funded by the university system, and they want us to switch, and we'll be ending funding for the old Squirrel Mail-based system by the end of this fiscal year, which ends on June 30th.
So what is going to happen then with the Squirrel Mail once you guys freeze it? The email came out today saying that they're going to freeze it. What's going to happen to the emails that the students have not transferred over?
Well, there's going to be a cutoff date when we're not going to run the old systems anymore. So all the content needs to get moved to the new system before that time. And we are also in an analogous process with faculty and staff. We're actually further along with faculty and staff, and they have to get all their email moved also. We hope to wrap that process up with faculty and staff probably in the March timeframe. With students, we're hoping to get that done by the end of the semester.
So with the NDSU Live Mail now, why did you choose this program? What makes it so handy that's going to help students out the most?
Well, there's a number of features we're expecting students to be interested in. And it does a lot more than the old mail system. The old mail system was really just mail. This now we have calendar, we have instant messaging, we have online storage for files and things like that. And we're really expecting that, well, students have told us this is really something that they want.
Now, are students having problems transitioning over, or are there any other concerns that students are having with this?
Well, I think we're really kind of getting the message out now. And so we've done a lot of this with faculty and staff, and the process is going pretty well with them at this point. I expect that that's going to be the same with students, but we probably are on the early end of this, and as we see problems, we'll just have to work through them. But hopefully they're going to be very minimal.
And what can students do if they do actually have problems?
If they do have problems, they can always contact the help desk. If you go to the ITS website, www.ndsu.edu, there's a whole bunch of information on this and other initiatives that are happening within the division.
And so are there any other important things going on in the Division of Information Technology that students should know about?
Yes, probably one of the biggest things that we want students to know about this spring is the change in their ID on the Campus Connection system, sometimes called ConnectND, sometimes called PeopleSoft, depending on who you're talking to. And so we're also having communication going out about that. The long-term goal is for students to be able to use the same ID and password that they do on local campus that they do when they go to the university system services to register for classes and whatnot. And then even when they go from campus to campus for various things, they should be able to use the same credentials.
And they'll be able to get help if they are having problems with that as well.
Contact the help desk if they're having trouble with that too.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for joining us in studio here and telling us a little bit about what's going on in your guys' neck of the woods.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, when we return, SuTV News has an update on the provost search. We'll have this and more when we return.
Imagine the impact of a place where exploration leads to answers that touch everyone, where resources and resourcefulness, teamwork and tenacity combine to open new frontiers, where dreams take the lead and show you tomorrow. Bison strong. For tickets, call 231-NDSU.
Welcome back. Earlier in the broadcast, we talked about the teamwork between the City of Fargo and NDSU in sandbagging efforts. Yet we also heard how there are not as many students showing up as the city would like. So SuTV News went out on campus to find out if students are actually ready to lend a helping hand.
All right, we're here with Joe. Now, Joe, what do you think about the flood so far this year?
Well, I think it's going to happen. Sandbag Center's open now, so I'm sure students are there now. I'll probably get my time in, I'm sure.
I'm ready for it, and I don't know, I'm really enthused about sandbagging this year.
You're really excited to get into the whole like community spirit sort of thing?
Yeah, I've been here, this is my freshman year, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited to go sandbagging and have the experience.
I have some friends that live down by 32nd, and they have a full basement, so I'm probably going to end up being their Sherpa.
All right, we're here with Dylan. Now, Dylan, what sort of things are you planning for sandbagging season here?
I probably won't be doing much sandbagging.
I don't know, I'm tired of it. You know, the first one that we sandbagged, it was kind of an adventure and stuff, and right now I'm just kind of over it.
Now, are you planning to do any, sandbagging, any volunteering at all?
Yeah, I think that's like the best part about it. It's fun to get out there with your friends and just have fun sandbagging, and you're helping out your community at the same time, so it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess we should have maybe a dike or something around. Don't really like the diversion plan, but dike sure would be nice so we don't have to do this every year.
I think something needs to be put in place probably, but it's probably actually not going to be taking place in a long time. It seems like people kind of tend to wait on it and hope things are going to get better, but I don't know if any action is actually going to take place.
I think it takes big things to make big things happen, and 09 was close. So it sucks, but that's probably what will have to happen.
In other news, the provost search is moving forward. Search committee members have selected 11 potential candidates, and they are listed here. The committee will meet on February 23rd to discuss reference checks and decide on up to 8 candidates to bring for off-site interviews, held on March 5th and 6th at the Ramada Plaza Suites in Fargo.
For many expecting mothers, pregnancy can be a difficult time to maintain a routine of physical fitness and exercise. As a result, it's easy for many mothers to gain excess weight and become inactive as their pregnancy progresses.
However, SuTV's Matthew Kurtz spotted one future mother in NDSU's Wallman Wellness Center who is taking a proactive approach to exercise during pregnancy.
Over the past few months, whenever Miriam Rosinski enters the Wellness Center for her early morning workout, heads can turn. That's because Miriam is nearly 7 months pregnant. Miriam says she had a fairly active lifestyle even before pregnancy, but now, with the child inside of her, she says exercise has become all the more important.
I know that sometimes I think pregnancy can be used as an excuse to not exercise anymore or just to be able to eat whatever you want. Exercise and eating healthy has become even more important because not only are you nourishing your body, but you're also having to worry about nourishing the little one that's inside of you as well.
Instead of eating for 2, Miriam is exercising for 2, which has plenty of benefits.
It's going to help you sleep better. You're going to have less aches and pains, less fluid retention. It helps with the varicose veins you have to worry about with pregnancy. You know, just overall mood and well-being in general.
It definitely makes delivery a lot easier if you remain active all the way through, as well as just maintaining a healthy body weight, which is good for not only the baby but also for myself afterwards.
So as she runs and lifts weights, is there anything Miriam can't do?
I've heard of stories of women in their 3rd trimester running half marathons, which I'm not there at all. I was even told that I could play basketball or any contact sports. I haven't been doing abs anymore just because it's really difficult.
The sign says to work with others, and for the next few months at least, Miriam will never be without an exercise partner. I'm Matthew Kurtz, SuTV News.
Rosinski graduated from NDSU in 2009 and now works as a school-aged coordinator at the Fargo YMCA. She and her husband Stephen are expecting their first child to be born in mid-April.
Well, I knew you could exercise during pregnancy, but I had no idea that you could actually run, and people running half marathons?
Half marathon, yeah. Who would have thought that?
I've seen her at the wellness center before, and she could definitely outrun me.
Yeah, speaking of running up and down the court, the Bison basketball team in action.
The Bison were locked in a close one at the BSA. This and more when we come back with SuTV Sports.
Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich. Delivery guys.
Imagine the impact of a place where exploration leads to answers that touch everyone. Where resources and resourcefulness, teamwork and tenacity combine to open new frontiers. Where dreams take the lead and show you tomorrow.
SuTV Sports is sponsored in part by Scheels. Ready for your next big adventure? Welcome to Scheels, the world's largest selection of sports, sportswear, and footwear.
Welcome back. Bison men's basketball riding a little bit of a high, having won 4 of its last 5 back in action against IUPUI. The Jaguars, hot as well, have won 4 of their last 5 and beat the Bison by only 3 points earlier this season. Now to the BSA, a very back and forth first half for the Bison. 5 seconds in, Taylor Braun knocks down the 3 for a 3-0 lead, part of an 8-2 early lead by the Bison. Alex Young of the Jaguars drives and hits the floater, which is part of a 25-4 lead that IUPUI had. Minute 49 left, Mike Felt knocks down his second of back-to-back threes, and the Bison trail 43-31. With 4 seconds left, Freddie Coleman misses the layup, but Eric Carlson puts it back off the glass, part of a 14-2 run by the Bison to end the first half. They go into the locker room trailing 45-36. Now to the second half, 20 seconds left in the game. Mike Felt hits yet another big 3, and the Bison only trail 72-70. With 9 seconds left, Freddie Coleman loses the handle. Mike Felt with the errant pass, and the Jaguars hang on for the close 76-72 win.
Overall, our guys did a terrific job of continuing to fight, but we expect them to do that. We don't expect them to dig that kind of hole, and we'll work on avoiding that.
Now to the women, 10-18 left in the first half. The game knotted at 10. Danielle DeGagne with the nice kick out to Katie Burkle, who hits the 3 for the 13-10 lead. Abby Plucker pulls up and hits yet another 3 for the Bison as they lead 22-18 and go into the half leading 29-28. Into the second half, 14-20 left. Katie Burkle with the long lead pass, and Janae Burrich hits the layup. Burkle with another pass, this time to Abby Plucker, and she hits a layup as the Bison lead 52-37. With 6:03 left, Whitney Trecker drives and hits the floater. The Bison lead by 12 and hold on to win 65-50.
Or a month ago where we hit a crossroads and we needed to make some decisions, and our kids they did some self-evaluating and some collective team decisions, and we've turned the corner in terms of enjoying ourselves again.
The Bison men are currently 13-12 overall, 7-8 in the Summit League, which is good enough for 7th place. The women are also 13-12 overall, 9-6 in conference play, and are currently 4th in the Summit League. Both teams will be on the road taking on Oakland and IUPUI this weekend. Dickinson State made a stop at the BSA this past weekend to grapple with the Bison wrestlers, but may now be hoping that they would have never come to Fargo. Fresh off of a dominating 43-7 win over South Dakota State 2 nights earlier, the men were looking to keep things going against the Blue Hawks out of the NAIA. To the BSA, the Bison are already leading the duel 20-0. 157-pounder Salmonen pins Dickinson's Kyle Johnson for his 10th pin of the season. Moving to 165 pounds, new to the roster, Stephen Monk pins Dickinson's Nick Zumwalt and brings the lead to 32-0. At 197 pounds, Bison Drew Ross takes on Kenneth Finlayson, gets the back points and the pin. The Bison go up 44-0 and eventually take the 44-3 victory.
We're there mentally, and just, I don't know, just there's some few things that some small technique and stuff that we need to work on yet to critique that before regions start, and then, I mean, we're pretty much ready.
NDSU has outscored its opponents 87-10 in its last 2 duels. Next up for the Bison, a visit from Utah Valley this Saturday night. Bison fans will now not only have a chance to meet their favorite Bison players and coaches, but have their lunch served by them. NDSU Athletics has announced plans for its first lunch with the Bison, scheduled for Thursday, March 10th. The event will be held at Fargo's Texas Roadhouse on 13th Avenue. There will be 2 different sittings, one at 11:30 a.m. and one at 1 o'clock p.m. For only $15, fans will get all-you-can-eat barbecue ribs, coleslaw, and baked beans. It will be hosted by Athletic Director Gene Taylor, and proceeds will go to the NDSU Scholarship Fund.
Well, Bison wrestling is sure looking pretty strong this time of year.
Yeah, the Bison volleyball actually just named a new assistant head coach. Jason Reed is coming over after 4 years as assistant coach at Western Michigan.
That's really good news again for volleyball. They just hired their head coach. Now they got an assistant, so hopefully they'll do pretty well next year.
Exciting news for them.
Still to come, an update on the progress at Sandbag Central. SuTV News will be right back.
Technology has given birth to many innovative products in order to improve efficiency and product quality, but also to have fun. Today we'd like to show you an amazing new piece of technology, the Xbox Kinect by Microsoft. It's capable of gauging distance and motion, digitally map a 3D space, and even visually recognize players and accepting voice commands, doing it all in real time. So let's talk tech.
Kinect is totally different from all other gaming devices that have been launched in the past few years without any gizmos or gadgets to hold. When playing with Kinect, you are the controller. Using revolutionary PrimeSense technology, Kinect creates a depth image of the players with incredible accuracy, capable of sensing and tracking the entire human body without any special hardware. The Kinect sensors are able to track at least 6 people simultaneously, including 2 active players. Just have your friend jump in, and Kinect automatically adds another player. In addition to its stunning motion technology, Kinect also features a voice recognition system. The multi-array microphone setup can recognize spoken words and commands. Combining this with Kinect's motion tracking capabilities gives you nearly complete hands-free control of your Xbox. So get off the couch, ditch the cumbersome controls, and experience the magic of Kinect.
Welcome back to SuTV News. We'd just like to close the show by reiterating the fact that Sandbag Central needs your help. Hours are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Buses run every 15 minutes from the Union. If you have any questions, call the volunteer hotline at 701-476-4000. As of February 16th, a total of 287,000 sandbags have been made out of a possible 3 million. The city needs your help. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you again next week.